Welcome back, everybody. This is Nikachu for Nikachu Investments. And a very strange phenomenon is happening. We are seeing skyrocketing prices. The prices are going up on Magic the Gathering Online. Some cards are just going crazy. You can buy a whole modern deck for a playset of like some of these cards. So we're going to talk about some of them today and why they might be moving on the upwards. Starting with the big one, oh my god, Force of Negation. This thing is only like $33 in paper, but online, on Magic the Gathering Online, 91 ticks. And for all of you who don't know, basically one tick is $1, so 91 for one copy. So for a playset, you're looking at 360 ticks. No wonder a lot of people aren't playing this thing in Modern Merfolk. People are asking me, what is the replacement card for Force of Negation? What's the budget card? Can I use Deprive? I mean, in short, yeah, you can, but I mean, there's really no real replacement for Force of Negation. That is a very unique card that came out of Modern Horizons. All right, so let's move on to another one. Archmage's Charm. This card I knew one day, this thing's gonna go up. This thing is on its way, and it finally found its home, Archmage's Charm. In paper, it's still moving up, maybe not as aggressively as online, but is $4.16. But as of the making of this video, it has risen up to $14.70. So like basically for the price of one of these packages of the Apocalypse currency right here, you can get yourself an Archmage's Charm. So $14.70, and this is a card that was like worth barely anything. Like even in paper, I remember paying like 50 or 75 cents a piece for them. They were worth like nothing. What happened to Archmage's Charm? And the answer is like, I mean, at pre-release it was around $30, but the price just collapsed and further went down and down and down and down and down because it had no home. No home at all. There's no deck for this thing to go into. It didn't interact very well with anything. I mean, way back then in the Hogak meta, I mean, that thing is useless. 3 mana, you're already, there's a Hogak in play already by that point. You can't steal it. What are you going to steal a grave crawler or something? You can't steal a grave. This is worthless. So the counter spell and the grind and stealing something, not very valuable. And maybe even past the Hogak meta, it still didn't have exactly the right shell for it, but it now has a home. We're going to talk about that in a second. Another one, Brazen Borrower, still very expensive online. Now, honestly, I don't understand this card. 42 ticks. 42 ticks online. That is outrageous. Where the hell is this thing seeing play? I know it's sparsely seeing play in Legacy, and it sees some play in Pioneer, and it sees some play in Modern, but it's like mostly some of this, some of that. Not really like a heavy-duty card. It's not like it's a mandatory 4 of in a lot of lists, but 42 ticks, it's that's serious. That's serious business. And I don't know, maybe the Legacy community is having a big hand in this because the dollar amount, the $23 that it is on paper, I mean, it's significantly cheaper when you compare it to the version online. So another super outrageously expensive card online, Teferi Time Raveler. Oh, at the sweet 69 ticks. Oh yeah, very nice, very nice. Teferi Time Raveler now at 69 ticks. I mean, that's ridiculous. The paper version is only $22. 69 compared to 22? What is going on here? Teferi Time Raveler, I mean, it's definitely a staple in anything that's playing blue and white, and we're going to get to that. And the last one that is the hot seller online right now is Ice Fang Quaddle. Ice Fang Quaddle, I mean, this thing's ridiculous. I mean, just a few months ago, it was just $2 online. $2. Where is it now? 40.5. 40.5. I mean, if you invested all in on Ice Fang Quaddle, you did really, really well. So I think there are two major catalysts for these cards. The first one, for sure, is that they have a really new home. Band control is basically taking over Modern. Many lists are performing really strong at a high level. Band Control is serious. It's playing Arkham's Astrolabe, so it's not getting screwed by the Blood Moon cards, and it's a real powerhouse. It's basically like Band Stoneblade, but without that sort of clunky win condition, and it's just focusing on much more powerful, valuable cards. Cards like Archmage's Charm. Finally, there is a home for Archmage's Charm. I don't know if Archmage's Charm was so great before, but right now the format is slow enough that the counterspell is worthwhile, and also just grinding out your opponent with card advantage is worthwhile. But most importantly, just taking a 1-drop is also good. You know, you take away Humans or Merfolk's Ether Vial. You can take away the Prowess creatures from the mono-red Prowess deck. Take away their Swift Spear. Take away their Soulscar Mage. I mean, that's pretty good, especially after they use all their pump spells. Metamorphose, and to crash through into Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, attack, steal it. It's mine. It's mine, it's not yours anymore. So Archmage's Charm, very powerful in that matchup. Also, the counterspell in that matchup must be really good. At some point, they try to stabilize with, or try to grind you out with like Bedlam Reveler, and then you just counterspell it. And you know, Bedlam Reveler doesn't come out into play like by turn 3. It usually takes it's a late game play, and the game does go long enough that 3 mana is going to be worthwhile. Not to mention, because the format has slowed down so much, Cancel is not too bad in Modern right now. Cancel is not too bad. Cancel is actually quite valuable. If your opponent is playing Stoneforge Mystic very late in the game, countering it is good. If they play any sort of Planeswalker, countering it is good. So there's actually a lot of value here with Archmage's Charm. Not to mention, like, I totally saw this coming a long time ago. I actually bought my play sets I bought my playsets somewhat recently before they were adopted by Band Control, because I saw the price collapse to nothing. Now that card totally could see play in Merfolk one day, and for like 50 cents, come on. I mean, this card is very strong. It's very versatile. It may not have the right place in Merfolk yet, but one day it could, and I thought, hey, for like 50 cents, how can I go wrong? I hope, did any of my patrons buy into Archmage's Charm? I didn't disappoint you, because I let them know what I was buying. And so other cards that you see that are inflating in price because of Band Control, Teferi Time Raveler, also a key piece in the Band Control deck that we are now seeing in Modern. Band Control appears to be very serious. You know, Uro, the Titan of Nature's Wrath, very strong card, very good win condition, very good value. You know, 3 mana, gain some life, and eventually a 6/6 creature that draws cards and gains life every turn. Like, that's everything a control deck wants. There's no other win condition. What do you want anything else for? And it's pretty easy to cast at 4 mana. I mean, that's not a Primeval Titan that you have to ramp into. So 4 mana, that's very, very strong. And the support cards are things like Teferi Time Reveler. Of course, the card that everybody absolutely hates. Never going to get banned because it's not that good. But it is a good enough card that basically any blue-white deck would be a fool not to play the damn thing. All right, and then we're finishing it off with Ice-Fang Coatl, also seeing play in the Band Control deck. Seeing play in big numbers. Hey, Baleful Strix for 2 mana. Very, very strong card. Again, needed the right home, and also it not only did it need the right home, but it needed the right results. It was definitely seeing play in the Stoneblade decks, but that just wasn't enough. And now that this Band Control deck is continuously making top 8s and winning tournaments and creating a lot of hype over, Ice-Fang Coatl is now a very hot commodity for this archetype. And another thing that I think is making these cards, like I chose all these cards because they have way higher prices online versus the paper price, and they're also starkly moving up. Because of the coronavirus, people need to find somewhere to play online, and now I think is the time that people are buying in. And if you want to buy into like one of the top tier 1 decks, it looks like Band Control is going to be a very favorable one for you. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. These price movements really upsetting people, but also blue is back. If anyone complained, oh, blue is no good anymore, oh, counter spells are no good anymore. Wait, you know what? They're back. They're pretty damn good. Anyway, let me know. Let me know if you're like a Merfolk player shut out because these damn prices are so high. I mean, look at that. Force of Negation, Brazen Borrower. No wonder people can't buy a stock Merfolk deck anymore because it's going to cost you basically hundreds of dollars more than the actual paper version.